Moving on to the semis, and it is a Roos versus HRE matchup on 4 lakes. We've mentioned these are two very, very strong civilizations, and we'll have to see what the outcome of this game will be.
Yep, and we just see in the bottom right is going to be our HRE gamer, and in the top left, it's going to be Wham with the Roos. Denying the animals like always. You got to do it. It's like a mini game inside of Age of Empires 4.
That's exactly what I call it. That's what.
Yeah, it's literally a mini game. Sometimes when I start playing, right, and I'm like, okay, let's get warmed up, kind of like let's get a nice easy game, and then I get a Russo point for this game. I'm like, oh come on, like I just wanted to just go to feudal, and now I gotta make scouts and micro at 3 different points and try to kill them, and it always forces you to do a lot of work when you just want to relax. So
I always find that, like, despite all of my efforts, that they still just seem to always get all of the deer and wolves that I'm trying to deny. Like, I feel like you get lucky every once in a while, but a good Roos player, and most of the people who are like maining Roos, like, they're so good at doing this because they're doing this like game after game. But do you have any tips for like the best way to go about denying these, or like when you've got like the scout moving back and then the Roos scout following you and sniping the wolves anyways?
I would say one of the things I noticed is don't waste time engaging into their scouts. So what I mean by that, not necessarily attacking them, but if you are on their deer and a scout arrives, just kill a deer and leave, because they have more scouts. So the more time you're wasting with your scout, he has an extra scout doing work around the map. So you're actually losing out more than you're gaining by trying to deny that one a deer pack. And that's something I noticed, that it's just not worth it. Like, just try to avoid their scouts, just like go somewhere else. And I would say also don't overcommit with trying to like go on their side of the map and get stuff. Like, just get the safe stuff, get the most you can, the safest way. Because some players like to risk, and like, I'll go into the Roos territory and then I'll get their stuff, and they come back and they find there's nothing on their side of the map, and it's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, right? So whenever you see a deer pack, a wolf, just go for it. Take what's safe, and don't be too greedy.
Yeah, and you mentioned Roos being so strong on this map. Part of what can happen is, typically Roos is going to have 2 or 3 scouts going into this next age, and as you mentioned, losing a Roos dock's not a big deal, but HRE losing a dock would be a little more meaningful. So we'll have to see if I guess, do you go for that 3rd scout in transition, or do they typically do it about now?
If they don't have a hunting cabin, they probably just stay on 2 on this map.
Yeah.
Like, the water maps are a bit different, right? Because you don't go for the hunting cabin, so he's probably going to stay on 2, I would imagine.
Is that connected to the mercy repairs? It is. Wait, no, it's not.
Yeah,
it
should be.
I think it is.
I think if you click from DeMusliM's point of view, you can see the aura on the TC.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yep, so he's got it. So yeah, that's not even going to work either. We've got the magical emergency repairs there. So both players' docks probably going to be pretty safe here for a while.
Yeah, the only way for Roos to do damage to HRE's fishing is literally kill the docks, right? And the only way for HRE to do damage on the Roos fishing is to actually kill the fishing boats. So it's funny how that works. It's like one can't kill the boats and the other one can't. Or he can kill the dock, but it doesn't do anything, right? So they have their own goals. And if you look at both sides of the lakes that they went on, they're extremely open. So sometimes you have these like mini hills on the sides that prevent docking and stuff like that. But both sides just fully open. If you want a wall, you're going to have to spend a lot of wood walling both sides. So a bit unfortunate, I guess, for both of them, more so for Wham. Because I don't think Wham will be attempting to put a dock on the other side of the map, because that's just a disaster.
And there we go. That first wall going up. Looks like the berries may be going to cause some problems with this walls, but I guess you can't build a dock there anyways.
Yeah, and there's also a deer, I think, the deer carcass. Yeah, there it is in the water. That also prevents the dock on the right side. So that's a little wall. That's actually an interesting strategy, to push the deer onto the water, so then you kill them and then they can't build a dock there. That's a next level strategy, actually. Oh god.
I've had issues mine work. Mine work. Oh boy, we got some action here already.
All right. I mean, out of all the maps in the map pool,
In the
and
back
actually with
too.
these spawns, yeah. Well, also on these spawns, I don't mind mine work because what can he do chapel on, right? Only wood and berries, which he doesn't need, right? Or he can do it on gold and stone, but then it's going to be useless for the rest of the game because he most likely will not be going farms, right? So the chapel will not get its, I guess, full value that it does on other maps. So I don't mind mine work too much here, simply because you don't really go farms.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say for the HRE amateurs back at home, don't try this without professional guidance, because the Akka Chapel is typically the landmark of choice. So because of that mine work, does that mean we're gonna have a little bit of feudal action?
No.
He's gonna use it for later.
He's 5 on gold. He's gonna burger it up, and he's just gonna go. I mean, look, if you look at DeMusliM's resources, guys, he can almost take up to castle.
Yeah.
So I think we might see, as I like to call it, Burger Palace, and he might just be super aggressive. You can also go for Regnitz Cathedral. Neither are necessarily good or bad. It just depends on what he wants.
We got some villagers coming across mid-map. Is he going for the boar, or is he going to tower rush DeMusliM?
Oh, he's towering him, I think. I think he's going to tower his woodlines. Which, I mean, if he goes Burger Palace, that towering is kind of pointless, right? Because he can actually just kill the tower with men-at-arms.
Has he scouted that's back there yet? I mean, he's going to now if he has it. I can't tell if that scout had line of sight, that Wham scout.
Yeah, DeMusliM can already go castle, by the way.
Yep, there he goes, going up to the next stage.
That's a burger, I think. That's a burger. Yep, there it is.
Yep. Oof. So he's going to be producing military units very quickly. And as many people usually say is, if you go with this landmark, your goal is to try to end this early on in Castle Age, because you've given up the advantage of those relics and those gold as far as what you typically go for with the Regis Cathedral.
Yeah, I mean, that's true to an extent, right? Because you, quote-unquote, lack that gold, right? But at the same time, if you get 5 relics and the opponent gets 0, you're still 5 relics ahead. So I think better option is whatever gives you the relics, right? If you think that... I mean, if he goes Regnitz now, he actually can't get relics. There's knights already, there's towers. He's just going to put himself in a really awkward spot. But going Burger Palace will give him the map control, because he's going to have units. And it's going to give him relics, although less income, but it will give him relics.
Yeah, so he's built these 2 wooden fortresses on the front line. Looks like he's upgrading both of them with arrow slits, but DeMusliM has just moved on over to the other one. Were those knights moving in there? There are, so he has to pull off of that for now.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit annoying for DeMusliM, but it is a big investment from Wham, right? He did delay his castle quite a bit. So while this is annoying and the workers are... Oh, no, I don't think you want to go there.
I think he went back to work and they did not go back to the right spot.
Oh, God. Work.
Oh, 3 villagers.
He doesn't
can't
know.
Watch.
Oh, this is
Just imagine the swearing going on right now to DeMusliM.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
No. That is, I mean, a little donation. You know, it is what it is. The dog's slowly burning. He needs to, I mean, he's probably going to auto-repair that, right? But, yeah, Wham is still in feudal, by the way. He's committing pretty hard on these knights. And I like it and I don't like it, right? It's one of those things where you can't let HRE do whatever they want. But at the same time, HRE will eventually get relics. You know, like, he will eventually pick up a relic here and there. And if you don't go castle soon, then you're kind of forever stuck in this stage in the game.
Yeah, we see his prelate out there trying to get a relic, migrating him around, body blocking. He's running around in circles. Will he get away? He did get away. So fast.
Nice micro. Yeah, and we do see something that I thought I wouldn't see. It's dock on the DeMusliM side of the map. A Rus player is docking HRE player.
Very
and
close too.
Yeah, DeMusliM not only he didn't build walls, but he didn't build a galley. You know, sometimes you can skip out on the walls. If you just build a galley and have it maybe patrol around the edges, so his fishing eco might be affected, and I'm not sure if he actually sees it. I think he sees it, but he doesn't, you know, actually see it, that the dock is there. because we don't see any galley production or any potential of actually fighting them.
Yep, and Wham still sticking it out in the second age for right now. DeMusliM running around with his man arms. Those archers trying to get out of there.
Oh, kind of. He's gonna lose these 2 men-at-arms. I think DeMusliM should maybe get a 10 men-at-arm and run them into Wham's gold or woodline. Because you're not gonna catch up with the knights, right? They're gonna make you run around and then have a second batch of units just focus down the towers or just try to fight the army at the same time. And Wham is just trying to buy himself time while harassing at the same time. You can see him kind of running everywhere, trying to just kite and not actually look for straight up engagement like this one that he should not be attempting.
2 knights going down.
Yeah. And slowly the Achery dream is happening. And like I said, he is getting relics very slow, but he is getting them. And that's the whole point, right? He got 1, he's getting a second one. And Wham has been doing a good job denying, DeMusliM hasn't picked up all 5 of them, but eventually he will, and this is kind of like what Burger Palace allows you. Yeah, you don't get that, juicy 1,000 gold a minute potential, but you will get 500, and that's exactly 500 more than your opponent.
Somebody's housed right now. That's Wham is currently housed as the man-arms are running around. And still not looking to age up anytime soon. He does not have the gold, so he's going to be here in age 2 for quite some more time. Do we have any Roost battleships? Yes, we do, right there. Got a galley out on the lake, so going to be some problems.
That ship is AFK for a long time now, by the way. He made it way back, and I think it's just been AFK there the whole time. And now we see the paper ship going at it. Wow, absolutely melting that fishing ship. Look at that. He almost killed one there. It's a close one.
Killing
definitely worked.
Unarmed fishing ships.
Whoa, look at him. Whoa, melting. Is he going to get one? Oh, whoa, the healing. No,
oh, one goes down.
Wow, insane damage. And now Galley comes out and just slaps him across the face. And the Lodi attack ship just falls apart.
And we got a town center amongst all of this. He knows he's in H2, going for that town center. Currently does have the villager advantage, I guess, but not the tech advantage. And it looks like Wham has maybe stabilized a little bit in his base as we have the 3rd relic on the way home for DeMusliM.
I'm very surprised. Wham actually, he's been at 800 to 1,000 foot for so long. And I keep thinking, okay, he'll just skip 3 knights production and get castle, but he's just remained in feudal and actually added a second TC, and he didn't even buy it. He actually mined stone for it.
The old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I find the timing of the second TC not necessarily planned, but just kind of oh, this didn't work out, I'll just throw down a second TC kind of thing.
A few villagers getting picked up here by these knights. They can't all garrison inside. In fact, none of them are garrisoning right now. And that villager difference continues to grow. Is that knight? Oh, he puts the relic inside there. He is able to get it.
Okay, the knights are just yeah, you survive.
That one died.
And yeah, I mean, another prelate dies, but again, that relic is basically captured, right? And he's got 3, and he's soon gonna have 4. So the villager damage is quite nice, but 3 relics, 48 villager versus 56, pretty much the same thing, you know.
Yep.
And the problem is DeMusliM has less army, has half the army actually, but his army is stronger. And you can see DeMusliM is kind of come back and fight me, and Wham is no, get away.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. And he's just trying to run away, trying to delay that as much as he can. And hopefully soon we will see castle out of him.
And he keeps getting basically just out-kited by these archers over time. Is there a certain point of which DeMusliM should consider maybe making some knights against this so he could actually catch them? Or, what's your thoughts on just kind of his army just not able to catch up?
I mean, I think he should, kind of decide what he wants to do in a way, right? If he wants to fight, like you just said, make a couple of knights to accompany that and chase down the army. If you want to defend, just stay defend and go Imperial, right? But he's kind of choosing in between, which is being aggressive with men-at-arms. And in theory, this shouldn't work for Wham to be able to defeat men-at-arms, but he just has so many archers, as you can see there. And he's picking off a couple of men-at-arms at the time, or, he's getting a charge off with Lancers, weakening out men-at-arms, and then men-at-arms go across the map and then die to archers. So DeMusliM put himself in a nice position, but Wham is about to catch up in tech, and if he managed to deal with DeMuslim's army with weaker tech, he should be able to beat his army straight up very, very soon. So DeMusliM needs to decide, am I going to make, mangonels, am I going to make knights, or am I going to go imperial? But he needs to do it very, very soon.
Yeah, you say that as DeMusliM has had just about 1,000 gold here for a while, so whether he's saving that for an age up or siege units, finally capturing back that forward wood line, by the way, those wooden fortresses have gone down as he has his 4th relic that he's just holding there for now. Now, I'd like to point out up at the top, DeMusliM has all of his techs as far as his melee attack and armor and range defense, so he was able to get all those tier 2 techs, but has still been getting just out-kited by those archers.
Yeah, and now Wham is in castle, and that's scary. He has a big number of men-at-arms. Men-at-arms are obviously okay against knights, but not when they're in the same age. The knights will absolutely demolish them. And these archers are obviously bad against men-at-arms, but once they're upgraded, if he decides to go for that, he might just skip and go crossbows. They will trade okay, and he's actually sniping the unarmored boys over here, and those cost a lot of gold.
Yep, Lance Connector being targeted down by the archers. Villagers, maybe they get caught up in the action as we have our first kind of real engagement here between these two armies.
Yeah, these are castle knights this time, so Rus knights are kind of hard to see in the middle of the fight if you don't pay too much attention. But yeah, these are castle knights, and I'm a bit surprised that Wem doesn't just turn around and fight. Maybe he's waiting for a couple of crossbows first, but yeah, this is one of those where, he's chasing him down and Wem is about to turn around and just bash all the men-at-arms in.
Yeah, what's the difference between the cosmetic on those Rus Knights between H2 and H3? Because, yeah, I do struggle noticing when they hit that upgrade compared to the other civs.
I think they get, like, the white outline of their, I don't know what is, cloak or whatever, but it's the one civ that I'm actually I have to click to see if they're feudal or castle.
Yeah, and we see...
I'm not quite sure.
DeMusliM kiting back here. Now, I see all of his gold has been spent. What did he spend that on? Does he have any... Trying to see. I guess just more units.
Yeah, and I don't think that in the long run this is very sustainable because Wem's army just straight up counters his, right? So the more they fight, this is better and better for Wem. The worker count is increasing. He has the better fishing ships. He doesn't have the relics, but he doesn't need them.
Yep, and we see that melee army trying to take down some of those knights, but the knights just fall back while the archers are dishing out some damage.
Yeah, and the archers are focus firing. Now he's adding spears, but he's focus firing those too. And he's just going to kite him until there's no light units remaining, and then he's going to let the knights clean up everything else.
And he's got crossbows in there too, and we're kind of seeing those numbers fall just a little bit. A bunch of dead knights there. He grabbed a few, but those archers and crossbows continuing to pick off units one by one as Wham is kiting back across the field.
Yeah, and like I said, the longer the game goes, if you look at the supply, it's kind of getting worse and worse. 86 workers, and by the way, these are not 86 workers actually. They're, 20 of those or 15 of those are fishing ships, which are Rus fishing ships, which fish at a crazy amount. So it's actually worse than it looks regarding economy, because majority of those workers are just on wood and gold. So about 60 of those are on wood and gold, just completely draining up resources. So he's going to be having a good time making units and spending all these resources.
Yeah, and basically DeMusliM's army there that charged across the map has been cleaned up. Wham has 7 crossbows, 4 knights, 14 archers, but DeMusliM can quickly train back some more. But I don't know. I don't see like anything different is going to happen as it's going to make it the same composition over and over again.
Yeah, we just saw he added a siege workshop, and one relic that Wham got, he actually didn't put it in the monastery. He's just chilling outside the monastery. So, yeah, he has a workshop, so I'm assuming he's gonna go a trebuchet, right? But with this amount of cavalry, he can definitely jump on the trebuchet. He can go for his own, and we see Wham has 1,000 stone, so that's gonna be a keep somewhere. And the keep will be depending what he wants to defend, right? So if he wants to defend the middle, it's going to be there. Maybe he wants to start cutting off resources from the Muslim, so like we might see an aggressive keep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think those are villagers moving on the minimap, like 15 of them probably. And yep, there it is.
Okay,
Here they come.
right between that, 2 gold mines. So if he can get this keep down, this would deny a lot of resources. We do see a relic has been put in that forward tower there for DeMusliM, but DeMusliM falling back as that keep begins to go down. Is that a mangonel there? I think it is, but he needs to protect it. A charge from it could easily take it out, as Siege is a lot more squishy than it was before since the last update.
Yeah, and then mangonel getting a pretty good shot initially.
Oh, here comes the charge.
Oh, he needs to be very careful. Oof.
Oh, he did it. Body block.
Yeah, body blocking. It's funny how siege interaction works. They're technically easier to kill.
Oh my
but
gosh.
if you body block, they are harder to kill at the same time. Oh my god.
Huge hold there for DeMusliM. I thought that mangonel was going to go down, but he's able to clean up the knights and the archers. But unfortunately, that keep still went up. But he could add a trebuchet in and maybe deal with that. And of course, it's going to cost stone now to repair it. That's going to be the difference than with previous patches.
Yeah, so this keep is not going to stay there forever. If he decides to keep it there, he's going to have to use stone, like you said. And that's not something you want to do. You would rather just throw up another keep somewhere else, unless the position is super, super important. But, you know, if a trebuchet is shooting at it, this is not a thing where you keep it alive and then you get rid of the trebuchet. I don't think he has any options to get rid of it right now. So he will most likely just let it go down. He kind of did deny gold mining, but then DeMusliM had gold on the left side.
And he has 4 relics.
Where his main lake is. Yeah, so he's still doing fine. The worker count... the difference is increasing more and more. It's almost 30 worker difference right now. And I would like for Wham to, if he wants to win this, right? Because Atri can go Imperial at any point and catch up with those villagers. But he needs to either decide, I'm going to go Imperial or I'm going to commit with a really, really big attack. Or he can even actually just start raiding like everywhere. Because, you know, these men-at-arms, they're pretty slow.
Yeah. So he's going to start working, taking down that keep with the trebuchets now set up. I was just so impressed by his ability to keep that mangonel alive. I wonder how low in HP it got at one point. He had villagers in there, man-arms all around. And you also saw how much damage the knights did, even with just like with 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's like siege dies faster, but it's so much harder to hit it now, you know?
Yeah.
But if you do hit it, it like falls apart super fast. And he's gonna catch these men-at-arms, and this is a very good fight because that archer blob, you know, it became a crossbow blob.
Yeah.
So it's not an even trade anymore as it used to be, and these men-at-arms are gonna take way, way more damage. Oh, and he's gonna find that gold.
Does he still have 1 mangonel? Oh, losing a few villagers there. Mangonel gonna be looking to get a shot. 2 mangonels. Like a good volley could do a lot here. Yeah, I think he knows it's coming.
He's like, oh god, not this again.
Yep.
But he's going to run away, and, you know, crossbows do a lot of DPS, but they actually can't shoot and scoot as archers can. So you kind of want something tanking for them a little bit, because they have a slower turn rate, so you can't really stutter step too well. And you can see every once in a while he sends in the knights, just to tank for like a second and give crossbows a little bit more time to move away. And, yeah, DeMusliM's just giving chase. But the moment he stops chasing, the Rus army can turn around and then, you know, chase him. So
yeah,
it becomes a cat and mouse a little bit.
We got 3 mangonels, adding a few spearmen in the mix, probably just to be able to brace in case a charge comes down. Wham constructing some walls kind of all over the map. It's kind of a spider web at the moment, and he's taking, it looks like a second sacred site right now.
Yeah, I think Wham right now, just go castle, or Imperial, sorry, and start printing out Streltsy. They're pretty good. It will give you access to better siege, you know, spring mills with more range. And the thing about army from DeMusliM is it's very strong right now, but he has 0 spring mills, right? So he actually cannot protect these mangonels. And if Wham just gets a couple of spring mills out, he's gonna have his fight way, way easier than it is right now.
Yeah. And those Rus Springle is not something you want to mess with without being able to defend it. And we see the knights coming to do kind of what you mentioned before, do some little raids, poke around, as his main-arms trying to catch him, but he's just going to move on back.
Yep, he just moves back, and, you know, those knights were on the left side earlier, but they actually came to the right side faster than the infantry, so he's just buying time. You can see the switch up in his style, right? He moved the crossbows back. He is just raiding with knights. He's just buying himself time, and there we go, the triple siege.
And DeMusliM is getting ready to age right now. You see him dropping down. I'm assuming the Palace of Swabia, and we do have the siege for Wham. So we're going to have a late game fight as we're at almost the 30-minute mark, and this is match point, right? Best of 3. So a lot on the line here, and both players, it's still close. Could be anyone's game at this moment.
One thing that's very, very, very surprising is only one lake is walled off. The other 3 are not, and we don't see any aggression with like explosive ships and stuff like that into the fishing line, which I find a little bit interesting because it's like neither player has defense either. Like there's one galley in the south lake, but that's about it. So there's some damage to be done there. And he's making another monastery, but he already has a monastery.
Yep, and we see
I think this was supposed to be a university.
we see some Streltsy starting to be trained here. At least one of them. He's got 3 more in queue, and just building more walls just kind of everywhere. It's not beautiful, you know. I'm not sure if Wham's played a whole lot of city skylines, but they are walls and they will block things.
Yeah, it's not pretty, but no, he gets the job done. It's not much, but it's honest work. So
yeah,
yeah, kind of weird wall actually.
There's a hole there to get to.
Yeah, there's a hole. Yeah.
It's like a maze. He's building a maze.
Yeah, he's just confusing him. Like, you know how when you click on the other side of the map, your units like find a way through.
It does mess up the path thing.
Yeah, if the units go here, they're actually gonna just get lost and die out of starvation all the way in the north. So maybe
he's setting a trap. He's gonna wall them in when they go crossed up there.
Yeah, and then do the landmark snipes. You know.
There we go, Culverin.
The army for Wham is pretty clear, right? It's Streltsy, it's Siege, you know, the classic. And now we gotta see what DeMusliM will go for. Is he going to go for a cavalry switch? Is he going to just stay on pure infantry and culverins to protect mangoes? That's something that we have yet to see, but I personally prefer Rus' position right now because their army in a straight-up fight should be stronger. While culverins are really, really good, the Springals outrange them, so there's always a potential for out-microing. And Wham has the control of the stealth forest, which is really, really important in these kind of siege battles.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, would you rather have the Rus Springald or the HRE Culverin in this, like, anti-siege versus anti-siege battle?
Yeah, I would definitely have Rus because it's, you know, the cost as well. Springals are much cheaper, and Rus siege is cheaper, right?
Yeah.
So you can simply outmass the culverins. As good as culverins are, you can just outmass them. And you can see that Wham is trying to get to control these golds. Both golds, actually, both big golds are kind of on the Muslim side of the map. So that's a bit unfortunate for Wham. But he will be trying to presumably secure this one. And if he manages to deny the second one, then he will probably, you know, have a pretty good lead just based off of gold.
And Wham currently sitting at pop max and floating about 6k food in the bank while taking map control and the second sacred site. I feel like it's going to be DeMusliM's move next. But yeah, as you mentioned, it could be a bit of a battle for this gold across the middle. Something was being deleted.
Yeah.
I think I heard someone being deleted. Maybe it was a fishing boat.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was, but you know, another thing, it's a lot easier to defend with Streltsy than it is to attack with men-at-arms, right? So if Wham puts down 2 keeps and 2 sacred sites, then the Muslim needs to make bombards or trebuchets, but then there's Springalds, so you kind of enter this weird, you know, position where you have to attack, but your army is not going to do too well against Streltsy, so kind of like an uncomfortable position, and the maze continues.
Yeah, this is definitely some snake walling going on here. We got walls everywhere, but DeMusliM sees it. Moving forward, it looks like building some towers on the front line, maybe just for some line of sight, and both armies positioning. We might have a fight here soon, but I don't know if I would like being trapped on the other side of the Rus wall. He's blocking it.
And he gets the block in, and you know, even if this wall doesn't fully go up, it limits the area, right? Like, DeMusliM is not gonna kill all these walls, right? So it still limits an area where your units can move through and makes the retreating harder.
Gosh, the Springald's sniping from the stealth forest. Can you even see those? Oh, apparently. Yeah. Oh, you got up there.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, Wham will always have a better engagement because he will snipe something before he sees the springolds, and then he will kill a springold. So it's always a losing battle in a way. And you know, DeMusliM is punching through because that's what this army does. It's just a bunch of infantry and some horsemen. But once all this is settled, if Wham micros properly, he will be replacing, you know, the knights and the archers, and he still has a lot of crossbows with pure stealthy, right? So it kind of, he did win the battle, but now he can replenish the whole army with just pure stealthy and siege, and that becomes a lot scarier to deal with.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a hole in his wall, but now he's standing on the other side and just standing there with pure DPS against those as they are kind of stuck there in the gap. But it does look like DeMusliM's army will be pushing through, trying to get on top of the Streltsy, but they are just being produced fast. Springold's even taking some snipes on the man-arms.
Yeah, and you know, he's doing some decent damage on the workers, actually behind on workers right now. He needs to make sure to clear this up as fast as he can, and his army is just going to be so expensive right now. We actually see him building some spearmen because he needs some you know, bodies to tank.
I see he's building some horsemen for the first time.
Yeah.
There we go.
And luckily for Wham, you know, spears are ready to go. He did see a couple of horsemen earlier, so maybe he just, you know, decide to preemptively make them, but yeah, now the army is like lands, and then we got men-at-arms and horsemen versus spearmen stealthy. So in theory, Wham should do pretty well against this. Look at the amount of springolds, 7. That's going to be very good for him. They must have even quit making siege, by the way. He just has 1 treb because it's going to be very hard to compete with that. So
well, even with horsemen, while they do decent against Streltsy and mass are still going to be fine kiting back and picking off plenty of horsemen. You kind of have to get a pretty big mass of horsemen and get on top of them. And with this kind of like kiting behind walls and buildings, it's going to be hard for the horsemen to do the damage they want to against the Streltsy.
Yeah, Wham is lacking quite a bit of...
The villager siege, moving forward. Those towers going down. How many villagers does he have there?
That has to be like 40, right?
He's just melting those towers with those torches, with the horsemen getting in there.
46. Oh my god! Oh god! If he loses those, oh,
those are lance connector. Oh, he lost a bunch there.
Oh wow!
But I don't know. He can afford it. He's got 4K food. But if he had cleaned up all of those, that would have been something.
Yeah, now he's just gonna break through, and on the other side, Wham is like, wait a minute, I got my army coming across. The villagers just start running for their life, but I don't... He needs some... oh, there's a keep right there. That's a good position. He needs some bombards, Wham does, to actually start breaking these towers, because they're going to be pretty annoying to go through, because all these towers, or most of them, are bombard towers.
Yeah, but they do less damage to the... To artillery now, right? Siege. They used to really do a lot of damage. Didn't they reduce that?
Yeah, I think bombard towers do like 20 damage now against siege or something like that after all the armor math is done. And that's a lot of workers in the retreat. But like I said, Wham needs to get a hold of his gold. And that should be his main priority. And you can see him, he's trying. Like, he's trying to limit both gold sides. But DeMusliM is just able to kind of just punch through, just bully inside and just brute force. And right now, the previous fight they had, I think Wham had around 10-12 stealthy. He has 34 now. So the fight this time around might look a bit different. He needs to be very careful about stacking his units. Very careful, because if you look at DeMusliM's unit count, that is a lot of cleave damage. So if he just manages to pre-spread or just not let land boys just, you know, clash or slash down everything in cleave, he will be in a really good position because they don't have a lot of health and they will go down fast from all these units. He just needs to make sure not to stack them, and he'll be good to go. And he's trying to regain the gold on the left side because he's actually completely out of gold.
And he is having to deal with those towers now. As you mentioned, DeMusliM has constructed these essentially upgraded bombard towers on all of the gold. And as he has plenty of food in the bank, but it needs to do something about that gold. As DeMusliM's army is kind of pushing towards through the north side, he knows what resources he wants. And I'm just sitting here thinking about how many match deciders have been on this map. This map is always chaos.
Yeah, I think DeMusliM is playing it really well with what he has.
Running past.
Oh, this is not... Oh, he's bleeding so many units.
Drive by, I don't know. What's he looking to get?
That, you know, this is not spearmen. If this was a spearmen horseman army, I'd be like, yeah, you know, throw them all out, you know, like whatever. You buy yourself time, you get some units. But this was a lot of gold in this army. Still is a lot of gold in this army. And if this goes down, if you look at DeMusliM's gold, he's not going to be replenishing those.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. He's looking to get value, but like there's no villagers in sight to be had there. They're all right there.
Oh my god, the keep goes up. The towers are not upgraded yet. Oh, that one bomber tower, I think, is about to farm a lot of villagers. And I don't think that Wham spotted that one. Yeah, that one bomber tower is hitting those villagers from the back.
Yeah. So his army does the loop, loses a bunch. So we got villagers gathering alongside each other there for stone. So stone is what they want.
On both sides.
I know.
On both sides, they're just like, that's my gold. No, it's my gold.
Oh, this wall is messing everything up. Is he trapped? I don't know what's going on there. I guess they're fighting.
Yeah, and that's whole DeMusliM's army, right? And we went from, I think it was like 24, 20 farm land snakes to now 6, right? So he does have 3 culverins, but he's playing against 7 springals with a stealth force buff on top of those springals, you know, like the sneakiness buff. So it's if Wham gets a good engagement, that is a lot of gold in the culverins that need to do work in order to actually pay off, because otherwise they're kind of wasted.
Yeah, let's keep an eye on those culverins there to the north. The springals get closer and closer. We have the infantry there clashing around the gold mine. That's what they're fighting over. But the springals looking to get snipes rolling to the front line. Let's see what they do. Getting one shot off.
He doesn't have vision, right? He doesn't, or he probably has vision now with the tower. But even if he does, that's 7 springals, and it's going to be pretty difficult for him to snipe those. He can actually put them in the tree line and snipe from behind the trees, because springals can't shoot through there. But instead, his units are kind of getting stuck a little bit behind those walls and just get farmed by culverins.
Well, and the trebuchets did take down all those bombard towers while that was going on. And now it looks like DeMusliM has some trebuchets of his own on the north side. Yeah, these trees kind of creating the no man's land. A lot of springlets there rolling around looking to... It's kind of awkward around this gold mine.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to get it. And if we look in the top right gold mine, DeMusliM has full control of it. I see a bunch of blue on it. So I'm assuming those are villagers just munching in that gold. He has gained full control of it.
Gonna pick up some villagers right there on the berries.
Yeah, and if you look at Wham's worker count, by the way, he is out of workers on land. Like, probably 20 of those are fishing ships, and he has about 30 workers left, which is not enough.
Yeah. Now, is there a point that those deep water fish will run out completely? I know they replenish, but isn't there a point of which you won't be able to keep gathering those?
I mean, there kind of is, but if you have just enough... Oh, Culverin goes down for 1 springle. Good trade for Wham. If you have just the right amount of fishing ships, they will always kind of replenish in time, right? Yeah. So it's not like infinite income. It will completely go away and then slowly replenish. So I think neither player overmade fishing ships. So they probably know how many they can make before fishing ships are kind of like useless and aren't doing much.
Yep, DeMusliM has some horsemen running around north, just looking to pick up any raids, find any straggler villagers. You do mention that villager count. Wham on 52 villagers versus the 125 of DeMusliM, which Wham has some food in the bank, but that can change over time here as this goes late. Very much a struggle for that middle gold mine, seems to be, and DeMusliM knows it.
Yeah, and he's actually losing springles to the culverins. He doesn't have the tower in the front, by the way. Like, he has 1 tower in the back, so he actually doesn't see the culverins. And if we look at DeMusliM's vision, this tower is probably giving him insane vision right now because of that relic as well, right? So he sees much more. He can possibly queue up culverin shots into stuff. And it's a lot easier, to micro-receive that way if you pre-queue everything, right? You just go in and you pop off a couple of spring ults at the same time.
Yeah.
But right now,
Culverin are in line of sight there. You can see they're just on the edge. Maybe he's going to go back and take a shot.
Yeah, Wham is in a position where his army is bigger, but there's no replenishing this, right? He doesn't have workers, so he needs to win the game here.
He's out of wood right now.
He's going to be, yeah, he's going to be completely out.
Yeah, it's very interesting how DeMusliM has kind of worn him down, but let's watch this fight. We've got a lot of Culverin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Culverin. Well, 4 Culverin as they trade shots with the Spring Ult. Streltsy on the back line, dishing out the DPS, but right on top of Bombard Tower with a relic inside of it. So, I don't know. I think Wham's going to be slowly bleeding some units here, and looking at the bank, not seeing a whole lot of wood or gold just makes me a little bit nervous as DeMusliM economy is nice and healthy.
And that Bombard Tower with the relic is doing so much damage to the units, and he has one trebuchet, but it's just not enough. And now he has a bunch of Streltsy, which, you know, is great, and he can beat DeMusliM's army, but DeMusliM's army right now is 4 Culverins in a tower, and that's, I mean, look, he's running in, and then the tower is just cleaning up the whole time. He's just farming these Streltsy, and DeMusliM will remake those Culverins, will remake the units, and Wham cannot remake anything, actually.
Yep, and look at the Horseman on the back line, picking up the reinforcements. Actually, those are villagers / Streltsies dying there. Gold miners coming from across the map, it looks like. And I have a feeling DeMusliM might have just worn Wham down over time, as early on, it was looking like Wham had so much map control, such an unstoppable army, but I guess some key raids from DeMusliM has really made a difference in controlling this gold mine.
Yeah, I think Wham definitely, in all 3 of these games, played better in the early game. But then as the game kind of went on, I feel like every time in Castle, Wham just gets maybe like stuck a bit. Kind of like, I'm not sure what to do from here. And DeMusliM just delays the game until, you know, Imperial or, you know, later stages. And just from then on makes better decisions. Even though in like the opposite game and this game, I do think he was... not in the greatest spot, but then managed to pull it back.
Yeah, I'm also thinking it back to like DeMusliM doing that like victory lap around the top of the northern part of the base earlier, where he just lost all of his units. It seemingly didn't have a whole lot of value. I don't know if that was a distraction for something else maybe we weren't seeing on the map, but that was like a curious decision too. Is the market going down as he's currently trying to trade as fast as possible?
Yep. I mean, it's gonna go. The funny thing is, he's so broke. Wait, this whole time, Wham had that mini gold on the left.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just get that?
Maybe saving it for later. I don't know. Building a market right now. No wood in the bank.
Oh no, he lost so many. I think this might have been one of those like, oh god, I had gold behind the whole time. That happened to me many times where, you know, I keep fighting over a spot, and then I realize there's a gold, like, in my base, in my main base, and I'm like, oh, right, I could have just, you know, gotten that. Because I feel like he lost probably over 50, 60 workers on this gold trying to, you know, get it, and right now he's just getting this gold for free, and it's like, oh, I could have done that earlier.
We got DeMusliM's army charging into the front line with a horseman going around the back to pick up, I was going to say spring golds, but there's no spring golds left, so those horsemen are just looking to get the surround as we have Culverin firing upon infantry. A little overkill there, and it looks like Wham's army is likely to clean up, and there's just villagers left there. How are these villagers going to escape? They could run back home, I guess, but I don't know about this.
Yeah, there's no running. They're just going to die on that gold.
Only death. And there we have it. Wham taps out, and DeMusliM, in what was a very, very close series, will be moving on to the semi-finals here on our Sunday, third week of July. And I don't think I've seen anything but a photo finish on Four Lakes. Like, that was back and forth the whole game.
Yeah, and like I said, I think this series can be narrowed down to Wham's early game was better. DeMusliM late game was better in this case, and you know, we saw Wham win with Delhi in like early to mid game, and then we saw DeMusliM win both games in, you know, mid to late game. So I think I feel like a little bit of a comebacks for DeMusliM. I do think that Wham was not necessarily ahead in the pure sense of he just had better economy, had more, but was in a better position, and DeMusliM managed to kind of come back from those positions, which obviously, you know, is a hard thing to do, and it takes a a lot of practice to be in those kinds of situations and manage to come back. So
Yep.
well played to him.